Good morning, everybody. My name is Dave Fanale, and this is Real Estate Talk TGIF. And we are brought to you by not only Real Estate Skill Builder, but the Modern Agent Group, the Modern Agent team. Today, I have someone that's been a guest before, who is a genius in marketing, Travis Thom. Good morning, Travis. How are you, man?
Good morning, Dave. I'm doing well. How are you?
Great, man. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And I'm just going to go to a quick intro and be right back. Real estate agents, are you looking to acquire clients consistently to grow your business and income for a great lifestyle? Well, this is Dave Fanale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team. Okay, so here we are. We are started here. It's another great Friday. It is January 20th, 2023. Holy cow, this is episode number 241, 238 weeks in a row. I'm really excited about this because I get to talk to somebody I met a while ago and admired for a very long time. I watch what you do. I watch your post. Your stuff is intriguing. It's interesting. It's fun. It's serious. It's a little. It has its comedy to it as well from time to time. Travis, welcome to the broadcast, man.
Dave, thank you so much for having me on again. Appreciate it.
Great, man. So we're going to get into a lot of different things about what you've got going on with Elevated REM and walled garden and technology and stuff. But first, I have a question to ask you, and that question is very simple. And I asked it to you the last time, and you were on October 30th, 2020, which is a couple years ago. But the question is, what does TGIF stand for?
Let's see. I would say thank goodness internet's free. No, wait, it's not free. I don't know.
That's a new one. I'd say it's innovative, right?
Yeah.
And you're an innovative guy. So
Travis gets information frequently.
You forgot from over 2 years ago, and I get it. I mean, you know what? You're not as young as you used to be. Neither am I. Thank God it's Fanale. I mean, how could you miss that?
Yes, there we go. I knew it was incorporated.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, so that was the fun part. Anyway, so here we are, man. So Travis, you've been in this business quite a while. You're one of the youngest broker owners, or was the youngest broker owner in New Mexico at the time that happened. So that's an interesting thought of a brokerage being, I think you were 19, and talk to me what your background is and what your story is so that people can put everything into context and where you came from.
Absolutely. So I started off really early in my career. I was 18 years old. I just left the Academy of Art College in San Francisco. And that time was really interesting time because I was trying to learn how to sell real estate. And there's a couple of things that kind of happened in that transition there. But one of them was, I door knocked on 2,500 homes in between being 18 and 19. And I specifically remember just going door knocking on these homes in a neighborhood, this large community, because that's what everyone who was above me in the brokerage, everyone was in their mid 60s, and that's what they did or how they started out. And this is, of course, the year 2000, right? 2000, 2001. And I had the door slammed on my face a lot. I was told no a lot. I heard 2,500 no's during that first year and a half of real estate that I started. And it occurred to me that I really needed to have a better way to approach people about buying or selling. Because I would knock on the door, say, thanks for answering the door, first of all. And are you looking to buy or sell in the near future? And they would say, nope, and slam the door. I had nothing to give. I had no reciprocity. I had no information that would be able to prove that I'm an expert or exchange information. So after about 3 years of kind of struggling through that, I started to really dive into internet marketing and started to develop lead magnets. And one of them that I developed was how to make those 4 years at college very, very profitable. And there was this accordion style guide that was about kitty condo home loans that was teaching parents and students about how to buy a home near their local university. We had 28,000 students, 30,000 staff. in there with all these homes around it that were appreciating at a really good rate because of the university. So I pitched that idea in the version of basically 5,000 little flyers. And I spent like my entire marketing budget that I had, kind of at that time, my life savings on this. And it was really an information guide. It was an educational guide that showed them step by step of, what is a kiddie condo loan? What is appreciation? What does that look like? And then did a graph chart of the math of 4 years if they bought a property and then sold it later on, right after going to college. This is what you do. So it was really sold to the parents and to the students. And I did guerrilla marketing, just dumped it for a couple months all over the campus. And then I had at the very back of it a little call to action that said, if you want to see all the homes that would qualify for kiddie condo loans, in this area, go to this website, right? And or drop an email there. And so it was a very crude, ugly website. It didn't have much there. It converted really well. I got a lot of people from there, and then we started to build some rapport and started to sell condos to students. And I remember going to a development and selling 3 condos at that development.
Wow.
And the the developer said, "Hey, you brought more buyers to us than our own listing agents have. We're going to fire that team and hire you." And so they did. I sold that condo development out. They were impressed. Then they gave me another one, which is 32 units, townhouses. And then I started marketing those. And when I marketed those, I started to market all of those via email. And that's when, Facebook started to come around as a couple of years later, started to advance more within advertising. And I just developed this kind of methodology of make as much noise as possible about everything that I did. And then fast forward about 4 years later, I had a team of about 40 people. I grew into 3 different real estate companies. We had a property management company. We had a new construction development sales marketing company. And then we had our residential resale. And then over the course of my career, I managed over 100 agents, and at the height of my career, I had 271 listings personally, and it was a fun kind of crazy ride. The biggest boom of my career was after 2008. That was 2010, 2012, 2013, 14, where we had done so much marketing and lead generation that we had all these leads that we could follow up with that we had been nurturing for years. So we developed a rapport with them, and I was recognized as known as the listing agent for all these properties. So that brand positioning plus lead generation and nurturing allowed me to have a private pond to fish out of. And that's how we survived and thrived through that market downturn.
Right.
So over 20 years in the real estate business, and then fell in love with the marketing side of it. And then that's when we started working with large organizations. And I then was selected to be on the board of advisors at Facebook headquarters, and worked directly with Facebook, and flew out to work with them, and was offered a position to work at Facebook. And I turned that down because I was focused on my own path and what I wanted to do. And now we have a software company that does marketing, and a advertising agency that does marketing, all for the real estate vertical.
Well, that's a great journey, and there's some things I want to point out that you can expand on if you like. One of the things that I love the most about it is you said you knocked on 2,500 doors and got 2,500 no's.
Yes.
How'd that feel?
It was humbling. It was humbling, but and it's funny because I would switch things up. I would bring a mortgage broker with me every now and then, and I'd watch their pitch,
Right.
and they would break out a calculator and start, calculating everything in front of them. And it was this demonstration of value that I learned a lot during that time. I mean, it really was. I was a sponge. I soaked up everything, and being rejected that much, and having the tenacity to still go on. That's something that you need to really have an appreciation for. especially in today's world where everything is so convenient at the click of a button. Everything is right at our fingertips. And sometimes we lose sight that um, you need to be able to demonstrate value. You need to be able to actually give some information that helps people, and it can't be self-serving. During that time of knocking on those 2,500 doors, it was all completely self-serving. It was just me asking for business. And there's a book called The 7 Highly Effective Habits, Stephen Covey. It was, ran January of 2003. My parents took me out to lunch, gave me this book. They said they saw that I was struggling, was making pretty much nothing, right? Only a couple of sales in my belt, and I read through the book, and it was for my birthday. There in the book, there's this one paragraph, and the chapter expands on it more, which is that you need to make an emotional deposit with someone before you can make a withdrawal. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a negative balance. And that spoke to me in different ways through marketing, where if you're not making an emotional deposit with a prospect and you're just asking for business all the time, right, it's going to end up in a negative balance. You're not going to get anything in return. So you need to be able to show up and give an item of value. And that's for prospecting, that's for showing up to a listing appointment, that's for running any type of Facebook, Instagram, lead generation campaign.
Exactly.
You have an item of value to give.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, and that really is a turning point when we look at people making for sale by owner calls, they're making expired calls, withdrawn calls, or circle prospecting, whatever they're doing, which is the framework by which we work is basically time stamped and time. It works. It works simply because we put the time in and we're doing it. But the thing is, we're doing is we have to meet them where they are. There has to be a sense of empathy to make those deposits that you said, right? So your deposit is really caring about what they're saying. And it's interesting, you realize, did you realize right away, Travis, that, or like after the 2,500 that you had no value, just saying, hey, you want to list your home? Was that kind of what you realized, or where did it take you? How did you get there? Was that when you got the book?
I realized it, I think midway through door knocking, but I couldn't grasp what I could offer. I knew I could tell that, and this is the thing of rejection, right? Is that after so many rejections, you need to be highly attuned to watching body language, watching tone of voice.
Exactly, tone and
Right.
pace, the whole thing, lead and pace.
Yeah, exactly. The face-to-face interaction helps so much because you understand very quickly, okay, I know what's going to happen next, right? I know what the next objection is. And once you go through that and you start to understand and start to hear what they're saying, and if you're really listening and you're not trying to wait your turn to then pitch again and sell them, you learn really quickly what they do want, right? What is missing from their information bucket, and how can I fill that information bucket, right? What is their desire and need? So it was kind of halfway through all of that, and I would then start to test out different things, talking about their home equity that they had, and with that mortgage lender that would walk around with me. So, but it really wasn't until it was kind of crystal clear until two things happened, which was that book where I read, okay, I need to make emotional pauses, meaning that I need to give information that makes a difference, makes an impact, and helps educate them, because that builds reciprocity and likability, where then they see me as the authority figure because I'm the educator. And then if I'm the educator and resource of information, that builds trust, right? So from there, it was then attending a actual class that I flew out for from the Urban Land Institute, taught by this phenomenal marketer that was really innovative at that time, and really talked about the technology aspect of being able to retarget people and follow people around, and different behavioral actions that get triggered on your website, right? And how to send them the right email at the right time, in breaking down psychographic profiles. And that's where I kind of nerded out on internet marketing and said I could merge the two. And that it wasn't until then after I created that pamphlet, that guide for college students, because I recognized, hey, I'm young. Who's going to identify with me, right? I need to meet someone that sees me as an equal peer, that doesn't look at me as a young kid that doesn't know how to sell real estate. So that's going to be buyers, first-time buyers. That's going
Right.
to be students, right? And if I can inform and educate them, that's going to help. So after that, that's when I started going, oh, but I can reach more people and I can do it online and I can use internet marketing and I can leverage my listings because people want those. I can leverage, all sorts of different things throughout the stack of information that people search for online and package it and then deliver it as something that is going to help them make better decisions.
So you mentioned using internet marketing and leverage your listing and stuff. Is just a quick question. Is internet marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, all the other stuff that we do, is it better when leveraged with, say, a listing or leveraged with something that you have to give, like a list or whatever? You said reciprocity. I want to ask a question, follow-up question on that too.
I think anything that you have that is of value to someone else should be marketed and should be used as a way to generate interest, and that is basically putting up a lead capture attached to it or in front of it, because in today's business of marketing, 90% of marketing is all done online, right? On social media. So that in itself is really kind of saying, hey, that's where everyone is. We need to then take what you have. So if you can leverage every listing you have, and this is the blueprint that I had,
Right.
how I got to those 271 listings, is every listing that I had, I made sure that we created a single property website for it. I made sure that we created an email campaign for it that would go out to our database, that would go out to all the prospects. I then would post that property website online with some sort of story about how we're marketing it to attract sellers, so they could see this is what we do for marketing. And then I would turn it into a Facebook lead generation campaign, where I would run a Facebook ad, and our whole goal with every listing was that we would get 2 buyers and 1 listing appointment from that.
Right.
And so we would then do the same thing over and over and over again, which is that we would basically have this whole blueprint and then just get as much marketing juice and squeeze as much marketing juice we could out of every single listing and leverage it, no matter what listing it was, right? No matter if it was overpriced or if it was, ugly or whatever it might be,
Right.
that we needed to get the word out as much as possible. And because my competition wasn't, they were relaxed and comfortable with their team. They, deals would just naturally flow in for them. So as I started marketing myself more and more and more, I started then getting more attention, because people would say, "Oh, yeah, you're a listing agent. You're this." I started being pegged as the person that had these condo townhouse developments, because you start to get recognized about what you put out, and what you put out controls the narrative of what people think about you. And so that perception is reality, and if you're building a perception, well, if you want to get into luxury, you need to start then, get 1 luxury listing and promote the hell out of it everywhere you can. Make as much noise as possible, right? Build case studies out of it, blog articles about, what you did to market the home. It's all going to build your brand of what you're putting out there. But also, it's so important to build a pipeline of prospects, because that pipeline of prospects, even though they may not buy in the next 90 days, they may be 6 months out, they may be a year out, and we've all been in that position where, like, man, I really need a sale in the next 45, 60 days because we don't have anything in the pipeline or pending. But if you had 2,000 prospects that you've generated over the past 3 years that you've been nurturing, via email and retargeting, you can bet that you can cycle through and dig through that private pond of prospects, and there's going to be, 2 or 3 of them that are ready to take action within the next 60 to 90 days. So that's also so critical, is keeping your pipeline full consistently.
Well, you had said that over the years you had built, I call it building momentum with all of the leads that you had accumulated, that it was like, and you just said that is one thing that you used when you need something really quickly that you're able to use. I mean, that's just plain and simple, being consistent and persistent throughout your business by making the calls, doing the advertising, making sure you have a place to put everything. That's called persistence and consistency and building momentum. And as you do that, just as you said, if you're doing it consistently and do it the same way, it's going to be through phone calls, through social ads, etc. And that will build your brand positioning. So it leads me to the question, with someone that has no brand positioning and doesn't have 2,000 people in their database, you need a listing in 7 days. How's Travis Thom getting that listing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a couple different ways I would do it. The first low-hanging fruit type of way is, I would, in my office, if I'm in an office with other brokers and agents, I would ask them, I would go to the ones that have beautiful listings that are at a price point that I want to be in, that I want to get listings like that.
Right.
And so let's say I would identify maybe 3 agents, and I'm going to do one that's in a certain price bracket, another one that's like in a middle tier price bracket, and one that's a bit higher. I'm going to take those and I'm going to say, hey, can I market your listing on Facebook and get the word out there, make sure people are going to see your property. And if they say yes, great, right? So I'm going to market those, and just like holding an open house for someone, right?
Yep.
Except this time it's a little bit less energy output and a little bit more focused on using software, right? Facebook marketing software like Walled Garden, where I'm going to go in and I'm going to then find their listing, and I'm going to then run an ad for each one of those listings, and I'm going to run it to basically the targeted audience of homeowners and buyers, and the software does it for you. And it was really important on that Facebook lead ad form, right? This marketing this listing, saying, hey, if you want to see all the photos and details, right, into your information, and then we'll send you this single property website, is that you want to ask 2 qualifying questions. 1, when do you plan on buying a new home? And then 2, do you currently own a home, yes or no? And we see historically that about 35% of the leads that come through that type of ad say yes, they currently own a home. And those are seller leads. So each one of those, I'm probably going to generate 20 plus leads. Maybe let's call it 25 leads per one. So we have close to 75 to 100 leads coming out of this over a 30-day period. Out of that, right, 35% of those are going to be sellers that currently own a home. They're looking to buy a home. They're interested. So I know that I can then follow up with those sellers and say, hey, thank you so much for checking out the property I posted on Facebook. I saw that you mentioned that you currently own a home. I'm actually developing a custom home valuation for about 5 clients of mine in the area. More than happy to create one for you. As you know, the market's been kind of up and down. Prices went sky high. They're kind of balancing out in some areas. More than happy to create one for you. Would you like me to drop one off or send one your way? And if you get a response that says yes, out of those some 30 people that said yes, they're currently on the home, great. This is where you then pivot the conversation to say, can you tell me a little bit more about the home? Is there any updates, anything, new kitchen, new paint, something that would help me raise the value just a little bit more? And then you're going to create the report, send them to them, give them a price range, tell them that, hey, if I could see the home and see more details, I could get a little bit more pinpoint accurate with what the price is. And by the way, I'm also developing a list of open houses that are going to be held open in the next couple of weeks of some colleagues of mine. Would you like me to send you a list of open houses that are very similar to the property you inquired about? So you start to use some of that language of being basically someone that's more service oriented, right? I didn't ask for an appointment. I didn't ask if they're pre-qualified, right? I didn't ask what their plans are. I simply just continued to provide more value on top of the original value of giving them the property on
Right.
Facebook to
Right.
look at.
Right.
So that value ladder of a custom service kind of oriented mindset allows you to build rapport much faster because your competition is going to be trying to get an appointment, right? Set an appointment, disqualify, qualify. And if you can just give more value and be in front of them, you're going to be able to get more yeses, get in more people's living rooms, and go from there. So that's the path I would take. And then all of those buyers, I would nurture them with different types of articles and content. And then I would make sure I'm texting and calling, exhaust every effort, right, to get in front of those prospects. And that's the way that you would just start with 3 properties, marketing those on Facebook. You can do all of that for less than $500 and get your name out there, build some branding around it, get 100 leads, and then really just start to work those leads, right, for the next 90 days until you get a yes or a no, and then continue to market on those by
Right.
retargeting them.
So I want to just break this down a little bit. There's two really important things that you did here. One was you totally used the law of reciprocity by giving and asking for something after that. What that also did was it used the same process that I like to refer to as micro commitments, right?
Yes.
You didn't ask for the appointment to come see their house or appointment to come, hey, let me show you homes. What you did was you ran an ad that gave you some information. You connected with them, talked a little bit, offered them something else, got another commitment, and took it to the next level, In a process where you need to get shit done really quickly, or you need to lead, you're gonna speed that up a point. But this is the two major things that you did here was the law of reciprocity and micro commitments. Now, if people are really interested in how reciprocity works and are really interested in learning about it, there's a book by I think his name's Robert Cialdini called Influence. It is a great book, and it's sometimes difficult to get through some of it. But when he talks about the law of reciprocity, and then he talks about liking people, how people get to like you, it's really pretty interesting. And you think about stuff that you've done in your life that say, crap, that's it, right?
Right.
The point I'm making with influence and all the other stuff is this: you do this stuff anyway. Don't let anything get in your way from being yourself and working just as you are and how you would normally get stuff done when you made friends in school, or when you wanted to get something done in school, or you needed a better grade, or whatever it is. That's how it works. The law of reciprocity and micro commitments. Does that make sense to you, Travis?
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite books. It's one of my all-time favorite books. And yes, that weaves directly into marketing that builds persuasion and influence, right? And that combination over time, a lot of it is used in retargeting and retargeting efforts towards your database of prospects that you have, right? And so you're trying to show you've built some reciprocity. You need to continue that, but you also need to show social proof. And that's testimonials. That's it could be, if you're just starting out in the business, maybe you work for a company that's been in existence for 50 years, that has 300 years of experience, whatever it might be, right? Or that has 1 billion in sales or 50 million in sales a year, whatever the number is. There's different ways to associate social proof with what you're doing, whether you're just starting out or you're established. But people do gravitate towards success, and that other people have had success with you or worked with you in some kind of manner and had the right result and output that's a positive aspect of it. So think about that in part of the marketing too, which is retargeting. You got to make sure that as these people are going through their journey of thinking about what they're going to do, it's a big decision, right? A big life decision. And they're looking at typically 8 to 12 other websites and competitors during this time. And within 10 weeks, they're kind of identifying who they should work with. And they, statistically work with the first person that they have a conversation with. So really, as we move into, today's digital marketing, it's who can out retarget the competition, right? And who can really build that conversation.
Yeah.
So if we think about it, what are the conversations that are taking place? And if it's you on camera and having a video and you're communicating with someone, we can almost think of that as its own conversation, a pre-conversation before an actual text or phone call or email conversation, right? Or in-person conversation at an open house, whatever it might be. So it is really geared towards how can we develop a rapport with someone through retargeting, establish social proof, establish some sort of connection and bond, build that affinity with them through using video and leveraging everything that we have at our fingertips now. It's 2023. There's amazing tech that you can leverage without having to hire, a bunch of people to do all this for you.
Right. So along with that, I want to get into what you're doing now. I mean, I think we've done a really good job of really breaking down what agents can do and what they should be doing. And as we talk about retargeting, which is probably just as important, if not more important, than your initial ad that you run. What's the difference, Travis, today, 2023, in social media or internet advertising from, let's say, 2020 and then 2010? What's the difference?
So if we go back to, let's say, 2010, there were 2010 was kind of the Wild West in digital marketing, especially for Facebook. You could really laser target people and say, I want to target women that drive Mercedes,
Yes.
Lexus, right, BMW with this specific net worth that live in homes 2,500 square feet and over, that use platinum credit cards, that shop at Whole Foods, that live in this specific zip code, right? Now, as creepy as it is, that worked for what the algorithm was.
Right.
And then the algorithm shifted, and so did Facebook and targeting interests and working with HUD and other various groups that basically said, hey, this provides a ripe opportunity for discrimination and excluding people. So let's focus on, making sure that we have ads that are fair, fair housing laws are kind of interwoven in a way where you can't break any laws or hurt any people. Right. And so it shifted, but also back then, I think a lot of the marketing in 2010 was really focused on, look at me, I'm number one. It was a really ego-driven brand awareness play with ugly ads and basic templates. It's a lot of what I saw, right? Which is like, I just sold this. This is what I've done. I'm number 3. I'm number 1, number 2. I got this award, and that those are all good things, and it's exciting to post those achievements, and absolutely, because I was definitely that agent at one point too. But we have to look at it through the lens of how does that help the other person? How does that help the consumer? And how are they perceiving you if all your marketing is about you, right? And we think about this as almost, when I say we, in the marketing arena, those have been around a while, as those bus stop ads, right? Or the ads on the back of a bus, because it's just someone's face and it's really not providing any value, right? It's, look at me, this is who I am, I'm so cool, work with me. Right. So that was 2010. I saw a lot of that, and I saw a lot of home value ads. And home value ads.
Yep.
I'm guilty for that as well, because I was part of that. I had a home valuation landing page company. We had thousands and thousands of, those saturating the audience. The audience caught up really quick to how home valuation ads were basically giving an agent permission to, harass them. So that all of that had its lifespan and kind of fell off a cliff. And then go to 2020. 2020 was, I think really a lot of cool tools coming out, but also during the pandemic, where people said, hey, and this is kind of the TikTok effect, which is that TikTok got a huge surge and rise of users. 600,000 people a day joined TikTok, because Instagram became almost too polished, too influencer, where you see someone on a bikini in a beach in Tahiti in private jets, right? And you think that's someone's lifestyle, right? That's not mine. I think I'm doing okay. And it creates a lot of anxiety about that's what I should be doing,
Right.
right?
Right.
And,
Right.
and I'm
Right.
not obtaining that. And so there's this, FOMO and everything else associated with it. And TikTok then rose to be where it was authentic, lo-fi, meaning just like shooting on your phone, being as just genuine as possible. And you had people waking up kind of disheveled in bed, right? Whatever it might be. And that was during the pandemic where everyone's sharing the same experience of lockdowns and being at home and working from home and the same struggles. It was almost like this equalizer
Yep.
from a social media standpoint.
Yep.
And the TikTok effect has continued through 2020 and moved on, which is that people trust lo-fi video, meaning videos shot on your phone, more than they do a highly polished video commercial or ad. They also look at personal brand as a content creator and influencer kind of mashed up into one, that they have more trust and identify that I want to work with that person. In the younger generation, Gen Z is also persuaded more to work with a company that has a personal brand or creator at the forefront of it instead of just a logo brand static graphic. So 2020 really was, I think, a shift into how you market yourself, that it doesn't have to be so highly polished. It doesn't always have to be about your achievements. It's sharing, it's information that is ungated, that you're helping to educate. And
Yeah.
brands that educate have a higher conversion rate, a higher trust rate associated with them. So now in 2023, we see that being interwoven into the retargeting and the brand awareness campaigns. I think leveraging properties, leveraging listings, I think that's always going to be around.
I think so.
I'm sure it's going to change and morph over time, but the lead generation is becoming more a combination of being able to give more information that helps educate people to make better decisions, whether that be through video or be through a lead magnet, whatever that is. It's really about demystifying and taking away all the headaches that people have.
Yeah. So I mean, so basically, what you're saying is like when we look at 2010, 2013, I've been doing video for 15 years and started doing internet advertising when pay per click was 5 cents per click for
Wow.
Google for the local town. Now that I think that's $15 a click, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's gone crazy. But basically, what you said is the poor videos of the early time actually work just as well today, if not better, because it's okay. I mean, people worry about being perfect. They worry about all that shit with video and stuff.
Right.
No. Just record it, post it. Don't even look at it, right? So that's what. So I want to get now into what you're up to. You've got Elevated REM and you've got Walled Garden. Let's talk about those two things and how you're helping people with the software that you're doing now and utilizing, because that's what you got some really cool stuff, and you're working with a lot of people. Talk to me about those.
Absolutely. So Walled Garden is our Facebook marketing software that easily creates a high converting lead generation Facebook ads for agents listings. And it does it really fast, so in less than 30 seconds. This used to be something that would take people about maybe 2.5 hours to build on their own. They would have to go to Facebook, log into Facebook Ad Manager, create a campaign, choose an objective, right? Build targeting, optimization, write ad copy, build a lead ad form. I mean, it was a really big process. And myself as a professional, Facebook marketer, even me, it would take me about 35-40 minutes to really fine tune things and get it done. So I was really kind of seeing a lot of people struggle with it. And I thought, there's got to be a better way where something writes the ad copy for you and uploads the photos for you and builds the lead ad for you, does the targeting for you, does all of this. So it's just a no-brainer, and there's no way to mess it up, right? So let me see if I can share my screen here.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah.
What am I doing here? Can I share here?
I think I can
I think you
present.
can. Do you see it?
Yeah. Here we
Go ahead.
go. Share screen. Yeah.
It should come up for me, and I'll bring it up.
Okay. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen okay.
There you go.
There we go. Perfect. So this is walledgardenhq.com. And from here, agents will log in using their Facebook, then they'll verify their local MLS, and then choose that I'm a real estate agent here. If you're a lender, you go the lender path. And then once I'm logged in, it's then going to give me a nice snapshot on some of my campaigns, how they're doing, the cost per lead, how many leads I've received, and people have seen my ads. But the magic here is where you go to choose your listings. So I'm going to pretend that I'm this agent here. I'm going to go choose their listing. Simply hit view Facebook ad. And then you can see that it instantly creates the Facebook ad for me. So we've got the Facebook business page I'll be running from. We have the ad copy pre-written, the headline, right? Some basic stats. The property's already there. If I want, I can turn it into a carousel ad, or I can just leave it as a single image. And from here, I go, okay, I can run it for 10 days, or I can scale it up to 30 days or something in between. Same thing, your daily budget, $10 a day, or I can scale it up to 50, but it's usually just kind of left at that. And the targeting, we automatically do the targeting for you in Walled Garden. So we identify about 50,000 unique data points. People that have visited Zillow, Realtor.com, gone through an online mortgage calculator, maybe gone through an article or watched a video about housing or the new FHA limits, whatever it might be. We aggregate that data and identify those individuals. And then the ad's going to run to a 15-mile radius around the property address. And then the lead ad form is auto-created for you, pre-written with all of that copy, all the questions asking for a name, email, phone number, when they plan on buying a home, if they currently own a home, yes or no. And then when they click on it and go through the lead ad form, they're instantly sent over to a single property website that is auto-created for them. And so this website, you don't have to add any kind of website copy. You don't have to build anything, right? It's all there, auto-created for you. And these websites are created in less than 50 milliseconds. So they're lightning fast, they're great on mobile. And it really kind of gives you as the agent, looks like you got a digital marketing agency behind you, right? Building all of this. So it generates those leads. Those leads are sent to the agent via text, via email, and then sent over to the preferred CRM. And from here, we get to see the results of a campaign. So this one, had some prospects come through. We got $2.44. I canceled some of those ads there. And then just kind of give you an idea, again, what this looks like in 30 seconds or less. Identify the property. Say, I want to run that Facebook ad for this. Instantly creates the ad for me, right? Let's say I might want to change the headline here. I'm going to promote it as an open house, and I'm going to change this photo and say choose theme, and then we're ready to go. And then hit click, and now it's going to be launched, seen by thousands of people in the local area, generating leads. I'm going to get buyers and sellers from that, and
Right.
it's over to a gorgeous single property website. Now, if I want to retarget people, I can go to my video ads, and under my video ads, this is where then I can create, let's say, I can upload any video I want. It doesn't have to be about a property. It could be about a community. It could be about a market update, right? Or it could be a video to expired homeowners that have expired listings. And I say, all right, I'm going to target, let's say, people in Austin, Texas, and I'm going to run a brand awareness campaign about that. I can add copy, add my own, URL there, or
Right.
let's say I want to retarget all of the people that have watched my videos on my Facebook business page, people that have clicked on my post, commented, maybe all of my past walled garden leads. This is a one-click custom audience to retarget them and nurture them with a specific video. Or maybe I want to run a custom audience of homeowners, right? I can upload a CSV file of, let's say I've got a list of maybe 3,000 homeowners in a specific community and I want to run ads to them. Maybe it's a list of expireds. Maybe it's homeowners in a luxury community. And I've got a list, right? Or I want to retarget my sphere of influence, my past leads, friends, family, past clients. And I'm going to run a video to them and nurture them for, let's say I'm going to run it for 25 days and run this video, and it's going to saturate that entire audience and retarget them. So walled garden really gives you the opportunity to be able to build those kind of campaigns in a very short amount of time without having to learn Facebook marketing, without having to hire an expensive agency, and just dive in, launch some campaigns. And it's really built off of the methodology that I had when I was an agent, when I grew my listing count and grew my team, all from making sure that I promoted every listing and I focused on getting buyers and sellers from them and then retargeting them with different type of video content.
Is the target market, has it changed over the last few years? I mean, because of who's using Facebook and who's not?
Absolutely. So it has definitely matured, right? The average age, the fastest growing age demographic is women 55 and up on Facebook, right? That's one of the fastest growing. We still have a good majority of the people 35 to 51 as being kind of the meat of the Facebook users. And all of those hold the most amount of equity in the US, right? The most amount of homes is attributed towards that demographic from the early 30s to 55 and up. So homeowners, there's a lot more homeowners that we're seeing on Facebook, right? And we're launching into Instagram in a couple weeks here, and so Instagram is definitely going to be part of that 25 to 45 demographic as well. Right. But yeah, it's definitely matured to where we're actually seeing some more higher quality prospects because some of the younger demographic has shifted over to TikTok and Snapchat, and so it's kind of diversified. But we still get people that are a bit younger, but they're not as active on Facebook.
So do you think that is TikTok or is Snapchat, is it a player in the ad market that we're talking about now?
Absolutely. So at my advertising agency, Elevated REM, we run ads in TikTok. TikTok definitely shouldn't be ignored. It is, all video. And so it's a bit more crafty in terms of being a content creator and creating multiple scenes, 5 different kind of camera angles where you start with a good solid hook, right? So you might want to say, I was talking to my lender just yesterday, and here's 3 things that you should know before you buy a home in 2023. Next one. All right. So if you're buying a home and thinking about it, this is what you need to focus on, and then kind of cut after cut after cut. So it's really, it's evolving into kind of someone that is good at editing, someone that's really good at video, that does fast cuts, that can get information in 30 seconds or less, right? And a lot of people aren't there just yet, right?
No.
They have, even you probably are, Dave, because you've been practicing for over 15 years.
Yeah.
I am, because I've been doing it for a long time. And the average agent is not just there yet, right? The long-winded video of a market update that goes for 3 minutes is just going to be swiped past. It's going to be a waste of ad dollars. So TikTok's evolving. Lead generation on it, not necessarily there just yet. Brand awareness and retargeting and building a following is where it's doing really, really well.
That's pretty cool. So if you were someone getting into this business, let's talk about what agents should actually be doing. I mean, they've got a great process in walled garden and Elevated REM, which is your marketing company. What should agents be doing today? I mean, in this 2023 market where everything's moving around and everybody's worried about it, like, just understand that I believe that if they work, they'll do fine. Right. But is there some place they should be working in what niche or what should they be doing, Travis?
I would focus on homeowners, right? List to last. That's a key thing, and even if you're not winning listings, continue to market to homeowners as much as you can, right? With organic content, with, door knocking, showing up, do some of the things that don't scale as well. You need to involve technology to some degree to be able to leverage your time and be able to actually get things done faster so you can focus on what you're good at. And if you're really good at being face to face with someone, don't ignore social media. There's tech that can launch things for you. That way you can have time to be in front of someone. But I would focus on listings, right? There's going to be a big shift over the next year to 2 to 3 years. And what you're doing now is planting the seed, the foundation for what you're going to be doing in the next 5, 6, 10 years. And the majority of people that own real estate, some of them are going to be phasing out, right?
Right.
They're downsizing, they're moving
Right.
to a
We're seeing
big
that now.
category, right?
Yeah.
So if you can focus on that, but also don't ignore that there are a lot of people that still need to buy a home, and focus on that. So I would say start to define your brand, your niche, build a personal brand about what you do. And that is going to be through video. It's going to be through any type of social media outlets that you have. Don't focus on follower count. I think that's something a lot of people get hung up on.
Absolutely.
I only have a small amount of followers, but that's not a reflection of my business or what I can achieve. And same for everyone else. Don't get hung up on followers. Focus on quality, and also just get really good at knocking out consistent videos that you can distribute out to as many people as possible.
Hey, man, I want to thank you so much for coming. This time has flown by. I know you got another appointment to go to as well. Just really quickly, how can I, Dave Fanale, help you grow your business?
Well, David, thank you so much. Well, if you want to dive into walled garden, right, go to walledgardenhq.com, and that's going to be something that will definitely help you be able to automate some of your Facebook marketing and lead generate and get your brand out there. And then if anyone's looking for custom built campaigns, whether it's mortgage campaigns or agent recruitment or big giant brand awareness campaigns on multi-channel beyond Facebook and Instagram, on TikTok and Google, or if you just want really, a nice type of campaign with nurturing your database and generating leads and building brand awareness, that's going to be Elevated REM. That's elevatedrem.com. And that is my advertising agency where we build these custom campaigns. We got a full team of creators and video editors, media buyers, and myself as the chief strategist there.
Hey, man, I want to thank you so much. And last time you were on already 2.5 years ago, but you heard you get a new hat, new colors, new everything. So we're going to be sending this out to you. If you can't just stay on for a minute, everybody, next week, we've got Lucy Quinones, who's the CEO of Q International, top agent from Florida in the Southwest, but also working with internationally. And she's just a ball of fresh air. She's amazing. I want to thank everybody for being on today. And we're going to go out and thank everybody for being around. Take care, everybody. We'll go right to see you, everybody. And here we go.